Gemini. Before we begin talking about what is coming toward you, I want you to take a deep breath and let your heart settle for a moment, because there is something I need to tell you right now. Something that, if you hear it in time, could change the way you look at every connection touching your life. Have you felt lately that someone has been watching you from a distance? An energy that feels both familiar and strange, as if they are waiting for the exact right moment to appear in front of you. I can see that presence moving toward you very clearly. And what makes me speak up today is not to scare you, but to keep you from accidentally opening the door of your heart too soon to someone who does not deserve it. Gemini, you are a more sensitive soul than you think. You read energy. You sense shifts in the air. You notice things others overlook. But sometimes, your intelligence and your curious heart lead you to move too quickly toward things that appear beautiful, but are not truly safe. And the person approaching you, they carry an energy that is very hard to grasp, soft enough to make you melt, mysterious enough to make you want to understand more, but also unclear enough to make your intuition uneasy in those brief seconds you could easily ignore. I want you to listen very slowly, very deeply. Not everyone who makes your heart and mind vibrate at the same time is sent by the universe to heal you. Sometimes, they appear to test whether you have learned your most important lesson. The lesson of protecting your mind, your emotions, and the peace you worked so hard to rebuild. And if you find yourself nodding as you listen to this, perhaps your soul has sensed this person long before they ever touched your life. Now, if you can, prepare yourself a cup of tea or your favorite coffee, then sit down comfortably, because the story that is about to unfold will touch the deepest parts of you. Let's begin this journey together. Gemini. Part 1. Opening warning. Someone is moving toward Gemini with unclear energy. Gemini. Before we go any deeper, I want you to allow yourself to slow down for just one beat, just one, because there is something in your energy lately that has made me listen very carefully, made me feel through each layer of your thoughts and each current of emotion flowing quietly inside you. Have you noticed how the air around you has shifted? A very subtle change, almost invisible, but enough to make your intuition ring with those delicate sounds only you can hear. How many times, lately, this week or this month, have you paused for a moment, feeling as though someone was moving toward you, not in a direct, obvious way, but in the sense that they are standing somewhere within your energetic field, waiting for you to notice them, waiting for you to open just a tiny crack in the door so they can appear the moment your guard is down? Gemini's intuition always runs ahead. You receive signals before events actually unfold. You feel the movement of someone's soul before they speak, and you read their intentions from the smallest fragments of their energy. But what's happening this time is different, because the person coming toward you is not just watching you. They are studying you. They are listening to you in a way you cannot see. They pick up on what makes you soften, what makes you hesitate, what you hide behind your calm expression and your gentle, effortless smile. They know how to open your mind with subtle words, with stories that seem accidental but land exactly on the emotional places you keep deeply tucked away. Gemini. How many times have you thought you were too sensitive, too emotional, too easily influenced? But you're not exaggerating at all. You're simply more perceptive than others. You feel energetic shifts long before anyone else even notices. And if your heart starts to ache just a little while hearing this, then maybe you already know who this person is. Or at least you know that their energy is moving toward you. This person does not arrive with noise, but with intentional silence. They don't burst into your life. They slip into it like a quiet wave, making it impossible for you to pinpoint the moment they crossed your personal boundary. And what's even more important, they're skilled. Skilled enough that you believe their attention is genuine. Skilled enough that you think you're the one choosing to open up. While in reality, they are the ones setting the pace. They use the emotional fragments inside you, your softest points, to build a temporary bridge connecting you to them. But this bridge, you must look closely at what it's made of. Because not everyone who makes your mind vibrate instantly is sent by the universe to heal you. Sometimes, that immediate sense of familiarity is actually a signal to be cautious, because that familiarity might come from the fact that they have observed you for a long time, understand you too well, or know exactly where to reach you the fastest. And the most dangerous part is, they know Gemini is drawn to intelligence, to someone who listens, to someone who speaks directly to the core, so they approach you with the things you love. But dear Gemini, pay attention to that slight uneasiness inside you. It's not fear. It's your soul protecting you. Your intuition is saying, observe a little longer. Don't open the door too quickly. I know you're watching this, and maybe someone just flashed through your mind. You may wonder why that person appeared so quickly, but you know why Gemini intuition always runs a few steps ahead. It always knows who is approaching. Even when your logic hasn't named them yet. And if this story feels like a piece of your current life, leave a comment to confirm the truth your heart is recognizing. You can write something simple, like, I feel someone moving toward Gemini. That sentence is not just a comment. It's a way of sending a signal into the universe that you are ready to listen and ready to choose the right person for your next chapter. And Gemini, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any important signs coming your way. The next parts will help you see more clearly the true intentions of the person approaching you and how you can protect your peace in this phase. Now that your mind has opened just a little, let yourself relax. Pour yourself a cup of tea or your favorite coffee. Then sit with me the way two friends do when sharing their most private stories. We'll go deeper in the next part. Part 2. Decoding Gemini's nature. Why you easily become a target for people with hidden intentions. Gemini. To understand why the person moving toward you has chosen you, we need to look deeply into the nature of your own energy first. Not in a dry astrological sense, but in the way the universe sees you, a soul with sharp intelligence, delicate emotions, and an exceptional ability to connect, yet one who hides all of that behind a gentle, approachable exterior. You are the sign of communication, of conversations that can open new worlds, of connections that seem fleeting, but end up changing the way someone thinks. And this is exactly what makes you both special and vulnerable. Because Gemini is never as simple as they appear. You have two layers, maybe even more. The outer layer is joyful, adaptable, intelligent, and charming. The inner layer is where you keep your fears, your empty spaces, your lingering worries that almost no one sees. People look at you and are drawn to the brilliance that makes them pay attention, to the way you can talk to anyone and still make them feel understood, heard, and seen. But very few know that to maintain that, you use your own energy to read emotions, adjust yourself, and meet the needs of the person in front of you. And this is exactly what makes you the perfect target for people with hidden intentions. You understand others too quickly. You touch their inner world too easily. You give them the feeling that they are special, that they are seen, that they are safe when they're near you. People who do not have good intentions recognize this early on. They know that if they press the right emotional point, you will open a door you have kept locked from so many others. Gemini is often misunderstood as shallow, but the truth is the opposite. You feel much deeper than people realize. You simply don't want anyone to see it. And your empathy, your desire to understand others, Your desire to help them become lighter, better, more whole, becomes the very thing that gets exploited. You don't abandon people easily. You don't turn away when someone needs you. You cannot stand still when someone is breaking down in front of you. And those with ulterior motives are extremely skilled at reading these beautiful vulnerabilities. Your fears are also different from the fears of other signs. Gemini fears being misunderstood. You fear people thinking you're careless when you're just protecting your heart. You fear that if you are not interesting enough, not smart enough, not emotionally attentive enough, people will leave. You fear being left behind. But you never say it, because you always try to appear okay, always okay. And the person about to enter your life knows exactly how to tap into these fears. They will make you feel like only you truly understand them. They will say things that make you want to prove you're not like the people who disappointed them before. They will make you feel responsible for maintaining the connection. Because if you pull away, they will trigger a sense of guilt in you, a sense that you've abandoned someone who genuinely needed you. They play directly into Gemini's deepest psychology. The desire to be understood, to be acknowledged, to be accurately seen, to build a connection where both people are mature and sincere. But Gemini, someone who isn't pure-hearted, will never come into your life to grow with you. They come to fill their emptiness with your light. They come because they see you as gentle enough to heal them, but they have no intention of healing themselves. And once they get used to you giving, they will want more and more, until you are drained without even realizing it. Ask yourself this: how many times have you felt unclear or confused in a connection, but tried to convince yourself that you were overreacting? How many times have you sensed that something was off, yet stayed because you thought you needed to understand them a little more? If the answer is more than once, then this part is speaking directly to you. If you find these things true for you, leave a comment as a gentle acknowledgement. I see myself in this Gemini story. And remember to like the video so your energy stays here with us, so we can continue moving together on this journey of understanding the intentions of the person coming toward you. Part 3. Grouping Gemini by birth dates. Each group will encounter this approaching person in a different way. Gemini. Now we're going a little deeper, because not all Geminis experience this energy in the same way. Even though you all carry intelligence, adaptability, connection skills, and sharp intuition, your birth date determines the emotional tone, the intensity of the message, and the way this person chooses to enter your life. This is not a generic prediction, but a unique frequency that each Gemini group emits. And the people observing you, they sense this more clearly than you think. Group 1. Geminis, born from May 21 to May 31. If you belong to this group, the person moving toward you will appear in the form of an opportunity. This could be an invitation to collaborate, a new project, someone wanting to connect through work or ideas, or someone who wants to share a spiritual path they claim you are the missing piece of. They show up with just enough sincerity, just enough politeness, and a fairly convincing story about how you and they could create something big together. But what you need to pay attention to is their motive. They are not coming for you. They're coming for your intellect. They like the way you analyze problems. They admire your intelligence. They are drawn to the way you open perspectives they have never considered. But the danger is that they want to use your mind as a tool. They want you to solve what they cannot, or elevate what they lack. They will admire you in a way that makes you feel validated, but that admiration is not entirely pure. The lesson for this group is: an opportunity is not always a blessing. Sometimes it is a trap wrapped in compliments. Group 2. Geminis, born from June 1 to June 10. This is the most emotionally sensitive group of the three. If you belong to this group, the person approaching you is very likely someone from your past. someone who once made your emotions waver, someone who opened your heart just a little and then closed it again for reasons you never fully understood. They return with a story about how they have changed, how they have grown, how they finally see your value. And they show up exactly at a moment when you may be feeling a lack of connection, a lack of understanding, or a lack of someone who truly listens to you. This person knows your weak spot very well. You always want to believe that people can change. You always want to believe in someone's growth. And especially, you tend to soften when someone shares their pain authentically. But remember, not every story about transformation is genuine. Sometimes it is simply their way of testing whether your door is still open. The lesson for this group is: do not confuse familiarity with safety. Not everyone who returns brings light. Group 3. Geminis. Born from June 11 to June 21. This is the most intuitive and most naturally magnetic group of Gemini. The person who is about to appear in your life is not coming through work or the past. They come through social connections, community, friends, or social media. They have been observing you for a long time before choosing the moment to approach. They believe you are easily persuaded by empathy, by emotional sharing, or by spiritual connection. They want to make you believe the two of you share the same frequency, the same wounds, the same journey. But you must look closely. This connection may be intentionally constructed. They gather information from what you share, from how you react, from the subtlety in your words, and they use those very details to create a sense of artificial compatibility. The lesson for this group is: your intuition is very strong right now, but do not let your kindness blur the warning signals. Gemini. Each group faces a different kind of challenge. Look at your birth date and see which group aligns most with your current journey. Leave a comment with your group. For example, I belong to Gemini Group 1, or I belong to Gemini Group 2. This helps you confirm your energy, and also lets the universe know you're listening to the message meant specifically for your Gemini frequency. Part 4. 3 signs that the person approaching Gemini carries unclear intentions. Gemini. This is the part you need to listen to with your highest clarity, because the person moving toward you does not show up with obvious darkness or recognizable red flags. They come with things you usually consider beautiful, intriguing, intellectually stimulating, and emotionally touching. And because they know what you like, they use those very things as the doorway to enter. Not to build a genuine connection, but to take something from you. And below are the 3 clearest, deepest, most accurate signs you must recognize to protect yourself. Sign 1. Gemini. You are someone who is drawn to intelligence more than any other sign. You open your heart more easily to those who make you feel mentally stimulated, who engage in deep dialogue, who understand you in a way very few can, and this person knows that. They will compliment you in ways you find hard to resist. Not shallow compliments, but the kind that makes you feel seen. Pay attention to phrases like, "I've never met anyone as intelligent and profound as you. I don't know how you read me so quickly. Talking to you feels like someone switched on a light inside me." These statements are not accidental. They are designed to hit the frequency of your intellect, to make you open the very first door, the door of curiosity. Once they activate your mind, you won't notice you're being led, and when your mind opens, your heart begins to vibrate softly along with it. The problem is not the praise, but the speed. They move too quickly into a space that should take time to build. And Gemini, you know well, anything that arrives too quickly is never random. Sign 2. They push for emotional connection before clarity exists. This person will tell you stories deeper than necessary during the first meeting or just after a few conversations. They will share secrets, deep emotional wounds, losses they've endured, and especially, they will make you feel as if you are the only one who truly understands them. They may say things like, "I've never told anyone this before. I feel you understand me in a way no one else does. I don't know why it's so easy to open up to you." And you, with your kind heart and strong empathy, will naturally fall into the role of healer, supporter, the one who understands them deeply. You become the emotional anchor they need. This is their strategy. Once they make you feel responsible for their emotions, it becomes harder for you to walk away, even when you sense something is off. Emotional connection is beautiful when it's natural, but if it comes too soon, too heavy, too perfectly timed, you must ask yourself, is this sincerity or a subtle form of emotional manipulation? Sign 3. When you set boundaries, they make you feel guilty. This is the clearest indication of an impure motive. Gemini has a soft heart, and you usually avoid disappointing others. You never want people to think you're cold or uncaring, and they will use this against you. When you step back to observe, they will say soft but cutting statements like, "I thought you were different. Maybe I misunderstood you. It seems you're not as genuine as I believed. You're not who I thought you were." These statements are not expressions of hurt. They're designed to make you feel guilty for protecting yourself. They want you to return to the position where they can influence you. They want you to believe you're doing something wrong, when in reality, you're simply asserting your boundaries. For a Gemini, the discomfort of hurting someone else often feels worse than being hurt yourself. And that is exactly what they exploit. Gemini, if you find yourself in a situation where you constantly have to explain yourself, constantly prove your intentions, constantly wonder whether you disappointed someone, this is not a healthy connection. This is a sign that you're being guided by someone's hidden agenda. Remember this: a sincere person will never guilt-trip you for having boundaries. And Gemini, if you want to recognize even sooner the true intention of the person stepping into your energy, hit subscribe right now. The next part will help you clearly distinguish who comes to bring light and who comes to dim the light you already carry. If you're ready. Part 5. The lesson for Gemini. Your intellect is your weapon, but also your weakness without boundaries. Gemini. This is the part I want you to read slowly, almost like you're whispering it to yourself, because this lesson does not come from fear, nor from hypervigilance. It comes from the very maturity you are stepping into. You are intelligent, quick, and able to analyze people and situations with remarkable sensitivity. Your discernment is so strong that sometimes you see people's true nature before they even have a chance to reveal it. But the problem is, you always want to understand more. You want to give them another chance. You want to dig into the reasons behind their actions. You want to believe that if you are patient and gentle enough, they will become a better version of themselves. And this is exactly what makes you ignore red flags. It's not that you don't see them. You do. But you believe you can handle them. You believe you are flexible enough to manage it, smart enough to avoid being hurt, generous enough to overlook imperfections. But dear Gemini, you forget that you also have limits. You also have a heart. You also have tender places that deserve protection, not testing. The biggest lesson you need right now is this: a sincere person will not make you think too much. They will not force you to constantly analyze, measure, or decode their actions. They will not send your mind spinning between hope and doubt. They will not make you question over and over whether you did something wrong. A sincere person is always clear. Their energy is simple. Their presence is peaceful. They don't make you work hard to understand, to maintain, to prove, to guess. You just get to be yourself, and they remain. On the other hand, someone who confuses you, makes you uneasy, makes you work too hard to interpret them, is someone you need to look at closely. Emotions never lie. That slight discomfort, that subtle tension inside, those restless nights, these are not signs of love or intense connection. They are your soul warning you that something unclear is trying to enter your space. The universe is guiding Gemini into a new phase of emotional maturity. A phase where you no longer allow anyone to disrupt your energy just because you want to be the better person. You begin to understand that self-love is a boundary, that peace is a priority, that you do not need to be the light in someone's life when all they want is to use that light to fill the darkness in themselves. You are learning to place your heart where it is safe. You are learning to let your intellect lead without abandoning your emotions. You are learning to see someone clearly without justifying their behavior. And you are learning to open the door at the right time, to the right person, in the right way. Gemini, look back at your journey. How many times have you exhausted yourself trying to understand someone who didn't even want to be understood? How many times have you endured more than you should because you believed you needed to hold on to that connection? How many times have you felt drained, yet kept smiling, so everything would look normal? If you see yourself in these questions, then this lesson is speaking directly to you. Leave a small comment to acknowledge your path, something like, "I am learning to protect Gemini energy." This doesn't just help you see yourself more clearly. It also sends a signal to the universe that you are ready to step into a stronger, steadier version of who you are. And to avoid missing the next messages dedicated to Gemini, the lessons about intuition, love, career, and the shifting energies opening for you, hit subscribe now. The next part will help you see more clearly who truly deserves to enter your energetic circle during this time. Gemini, if you've stayed with me until this very moment, it means you are truly serious about protecting your energy, your heart, and your future. And that is something far more worthy of admiration than any compliment. Because the greatest lesson this video offers is not just about identifying who is entering your life with unclear intentions, but about the way you are starting to look at the world with more awareness, more softness, more patience, and also far more strength. Remember that your intuition is your compass, your boundaries are your shield, your intellect is your torch, and your heart, even when tired, is still the place where the most beautiful things live. When you learn to combine all of these, you will no longer fall into connections that confuse you, drain you, or force you to become someone you're not. Instead, you will begin choosing relationships that nourish you, respect you, and walk with you in a true and meaningful way. The most practical lesson you can carry after this video is: observe your own emotions before you observe someone else's words. Ask yourself, does this person bring me peace, or do they complicate my mind? Ask yourself, am I giving because I care, or because I'm afraid of disappointing them? And always keep one simple but powerful principle. If someone requires you to try too hard to understand them, they are not your person. If you feel this video touched you in any way, let me know in the comments. You can share a short story, or simply leave a message like, "I choose to protect Gemini energy." That is not just a sentence. It is your commitment to yourself. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next messages made especially for Gemini. Each video is a step in your emotional growth, and I truly look forward to continuing this journey with you. Thank you for spending your time here with me. Keep peace in your heart, keep light in your eyes, and keep the brilliance of Gemini as your most precious gift. See you in the next video.